should not, you should post, you should block. Talagang ako yung one na nag-block talaga ng mga tao. Yeah. No, but they told me coming here that there would be 1,500 students. Bilangin nyo nga kayo, 1,500. Sabi ko, pagpasok na parang 15,000. So, I'm really happy to be surrounded by millennials. I am a millennial myself, one of the older millennials, but a millennial nonetheless. And today I will be talking about 0-100. I'll be telling you more stories. I hear there are foreign students here, so I'll be speaking more English. And sorry if I speak in our own language as well. There are just some jokes that don't work in English. Okay, so let me try and be formal because the hashtag 0-100 campaign is actually a very serious campaign that millennials have the power to do something about. You know, we are a generation that has the power to dream. We have the power to dream and we have so much power to make our dreams come true. There are so many ways of making our dreams come true these days, and we have so much access to technology, we have so much access to the world. So right now, the Global Youth Summit for a reason. So many people have come together here in the Philippines, and it's just so fortunate for us to be able to have this talk. And let me tell you a story about when I was a 12-year-old in 7th grade. Is anyone here from New York? Is there anyone from New York? New York, United States, ha? New York, Cubao. Well, in grade 7, so in grade 7, I was able to, I studied in the United States. And I can never forget our first field trip that we took. And sabi ko, wow, field trip ito? Field trip kami to New York. New York, USA. So we took a bus, hours and hours away from Boston to New York. And I remember taking a ferry to the Statue of Liberty. We walked around Times Square and took a tour around the UN headquarters. And of course, everything looked so big because I was a 12-year-old kid. Looking up, I saw all these flags from different countries just waving in the sky. So I told myself, wow, sabi ko, one day I would really love to work with everyone, with many different people all around the world. And so a dream was planted in my head at 12 years old because of an excursion. And little did I know that the place I was touring as a 12-year-old 7th grade student would be the place where I would actually be working years later. And so never in my wildest dreams would I ever thought that I would be in front of you all today speaking about an issue that affects not just our country, the Philippines, but across the world, countries, the rest of the world, and also as the UN World Food Program Ambassador. You know, getting the job was actually a 6-month journey, and it started with many interviews, it started with many case studies that I had to read, and I think it just sealed the deal when I read Bikit Cotabato, and I actually took a mission trip at 22 years old, and actually I don't tell this story a lot, but sige, I'll tell you today. The time that we landed, before we landed in Bikit Cotabato, there was actually a bombing on my runway. Minutes before we landed, the pilot pulled up. And there were pink and gray clouds all around the airplane window. So nagtataka ako kung bakit kami nag-pull up. May 1 hour pa kami sa hindi pa kami nag-land. Yun pala, pinog ba yung runway namin. And so, we surpassed that. We still landed. And I fulfilled my mission. And after that, I think that sealed the deal. So it was a long process to get here. And a lot of people ask me, you're an ambassador against hunger? Why hunger? So many people ask me, why hunger? At saka ano ba yung WFP? Kayo ba familiar sa WFP?
Yes.
Ang galing niyo. Ang dami kasi hindi alam kung ano yung WFP. Sabi nila, Casey, di ba sa World Food ka? Di ba sa ano ka? WFF? WFP is the World Food Program. And so it's not top of mind when you talk about a UN agency or food agency. But the WFP has been around for about 60 years. And globally, WFP works to address the issue of hunger. So yes, hunger is a serious issue. Are you hungry? Did you have lunch today? Dapat pala may lalakang food. Ako naman ang ambassador against hunger. Kakahiya ako.
Kain tayo after.
Teka. May mga truck pa tayo dyan. Eh, wala. Pero mamaya, kain kayo. O, ito na lang. Ako ay hungry. Ikaw ay hungry. Nagda-diet ako. Sinong nagda-diet dito? Biruin niyo, diba? There are 745 million people around the world who are chronically hungry. And yet, 90% of Moa Arena today is on the diet. No, but joking aside, hunger is a serious issue around the world. Not because, like us, anong oras para sa kain mo, tayo may gonna eat, hindi pa kumakain, nandito pa ako sa Moa Arena, pinakikinggan mo doon si Casey, nag-uusap sa pagkain. It's not about that. It's not about, wag naman tayo nandito, gutom na ako, kakainin natin mamaya. May mga plano na kayo. Di ba, ang hirap isipin but hunger exists in the Philippines. And being hungry is a day-to-day matter of life or death for many of us here. There's even famine. Famine is still existing in this day and age of buffet life and fast food and all these restaurants booming left and right. There is still hunger and famine existing in the world. Famine is shortage of food. Yung talagang you can't find anything to eat anymore. And when I went to Africa, I experienced this firsthand. Hindi ko alam that there are still tribal conflicts, tribes that compete for the same resources. Na yung anak nitong woman na nakilala ko pinatay dahil sa gutom. So, the good news is there is something that we can do about it. And before I continue, I'd like to share with you some important things I've learned about hunger so far in my 9 years as a WFP ambassador and what we are doing at WFP to address it. So please check out this video. Problem. Okay, you might be wondering now, what is the hashtag Zero Hunger campaign? Well, this whole Zero Hunger thing is all about Zero Hunger, which is actually the SDG 2, as in it's number 2 on the list of 17 global goals for sustainable development. So 2 years ago, in September 2015, 190 world leaders agreed to these ambitious goals, which include topics like ending extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change. These goals are meant to be met by 2030. Can you believe that we can cut or end hunger in how many years? 13 years? Is it possible to achieve zero hunger? 13 years. Who's 13 years old here? May 13 ba? Oh, si yung kapatid ko, 13, yung lifetime niya, we can. These leaders believe we can end hunger in 13 years. In the past 10 years alone, just so you know, hunger has dropped by almost half. When I started with the World Food Program 9 years ago, the number of hungry people around the world was 1 billion. 1 billion people around the world are chronically hungry. But now, 745 million na lang. So nag-drop na yung level or number of chronically hungry people worldwide. And many countries that used to suffer from famine and hunger can now meet the nutritional needs of their most vulnerable people. But there's still a lot to do before we can end hunger and malnutrition once and for all. And I can't believe I've been the WFP ambassador for this long and I'm still involved how humanitarians can really risk their lives and commit to one cause. And these real-life heroes are really ready to face anything. And from them I learned this, and I'm sure you've heard this Chinese proverb before. Kasi sabi nila, WFP, so ano yung nagpapakain lang kayo? Actually, no. We really believe in the proverb that says, give a man a fish. Right? You've heard this before. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. And this could not be more real to me in my experience and seeing how people like those in WFP really work to combat hunger. And this proves that to achieve zero hunger, the solution is not just to feed or give food to people. It's not just to go into a school or a community, tapos one day nagpakain kayo, ayan, nag-feed the hungry kami. I mean, that's very selfish. It's more about you. What you do is you really go into the communities, choose the communities that you want to help, and you saturate them, you focus on the communities, and you really focus on those communities year after year. You don't just go in for a week, feed, give something to eat, and then feed right after. So that's something that I learned from WFP that we can all apply. Diba kayo? May mga pamilya ba kayong kilala na kailangan yung focus. You don't jump from one thing to another para nakasabi na nakatulong kayo. That's what I learned from the World Food Program. So they really build a sense of hope, confidence, by guiding, equipping them, these people, for the long term. They help you equip them with projects that will generate food, not just to give them food, but to teach them how to feed themselves, to create and generate their own food and income, which are sustainable for the long term. It just makes so much sense. And as they say, you are only as strong as your team. Diba? At school, you are only as strong as your team. Pag meron kayong project, diba? Then, group of 4, tapos tatlo kayong magkakatrabaho, may isa mataas yung grade kahit walang ginawa dahil sa work ng tatlo.
Tama.
Ano tayo? Ibig sabihin, malalakas yung tatlo. Sinuwerte yung isa. But actually, you are only as strong as your team. And so the work of WFP is only made possible and stronger with key partners like the Philippine government and the communities themselves. Diba? So ang WFP, it's not just going and feeding or teaching them this. Maraming sections. So for mothers and children, there's nutrition support. So the first 1,000 days from the time the child is conceived until the second birthday. Pag yung 1,001 na day, may nagka-problema. Nagka-problema sa first 1,000 days at sa 1,001st day, okay na yung supply sa kanya. There are still certain parts of the brain or certain parts of the body that won't develop as well. So we prevent stunting and undernutrition. There's also livelihood support to rebuild people's lives after a disaster or conflict. And then we support national and local governments to better prepare for and respond to disasters. So I'm just telling you technical things about World Food Program and how we work. It's not just about feeding people, but encouraging, equipping, teaching people how to support themselves. And of all the World Food Program projects, I will share more on just the two that really mean a lot. lot for me. How we combat hunger through 1, school meals, and 2, emergency response. Okay. Did you guys know that the Philippines is considered one of the world's most disaster-prone countries?
Yeah.
Diba? Oh my God! Narinig ko yun. How many typhoons hit our country throughout any given year?
Dami.
19, 18, guys, there's 20. So I found out there are an average of 2 storms, tropical storms, that hit the Philippines. 2 per month. And this makes us the 3rd most disaster-prone country in the world, according to the World Risk Index 2016. So there are still leaders that believe climate change is not real. Who believes climate change is real? Climate change is real, and the most vulnerable people in the most far-flung areas in their livelihoods are most affected when natural disasters strike. Climate change puts communities, women, men, and children at risk of hunger. WFP has brought me on missions to help prepare for and respond to natural disasters in this country. And you know, we grow numb to the news. When we hear things on the news, it's always numbers and statistics. And especially if you're not really on the field seeing things firsthand, it's very easy, especially someone like me, someone people see as a TV personality, someone with glamorous life. It's so easy to forget that these numbers are not just numbers. And one of the most memorable, yet heart-wrenching moments of my life was a mission I had with the WFP for an emergency response mission to Cagayan de Oro. Sinong taga Cagayan de Oro? Hello? In the aftermath of tropical storm Washi or Typhoon Senso, thousands of people tragically lost their lives due to the floods and landslides caused by the storm. Soon after the typhoon hit, I personally found myself standing on mud that was filled with life just days before. Beautiful, colorful houses with mature tiles, children playing with animals, teenagers laughing and pulling the air. But at one fell swoop, a landslide struck them, like a thief in the night, burying them alive while they were sleeping. And while walking on the mud that covered this once bustling community, I came across baby shoes, family photos, CDs, broken pieces of what was left in people's homes. And I was asked to report of any body parts that I might come across. And there was also a man, a father, that was found. He was like this, with both his children, covered in mud and already dead. So even just talking about this rattles me still, and I can only imagine the effect this tragedy had on those who actually survived. And these same people were left shaken without their loved ones, family members, shelter, water, and food. But even while emergency response means to fight hunger by providing immediate food, non-food assistance to people affected by disasters, I realize more and more that in the aftermath of such a tragedy, your presence alone, your show of support, can make all the difference. A human-to-human moment has enough power to create a change in someone's life. And coming with a hot meal, especially, can generate a smile. And nothing's more precious than a child's smile, which leads me to my next and last topic, because I understand that it's pretty heavy. So one of the ways I help to combat hunger that we can all actually do in our own lives is the school meals program. To lighten the mood, please come with me to Mindanao and meet the kids we assist through the World Food Program School Meals Program. So as you can see in the video, we provide hot and nutritious meals to over 60,000 students in conflict-affected areas of central Mindanao. So parents and teachers from our partner public elementary schools work hand in hand to prepare the school. And it really allows us to get children to come to school, to stay in school because they know they're going to come and get to school and receive a hot meal every single day. There are also programs where, depending on the child's enrollment or attendance, their own families also get the rations of food per month. So I learned that when you feed your body, you also have to feed your mind. And there's actually an Olympic silver medalist named Walter from Kenya who won the 1996 and 2000 Olympics for track and field. He's a double silver medalist. And he's a success story, living proof that WFP and the school feeding project really works. He was fed and raised by this WFP school meals program. And he himself is a UN WFP ambassador who continues to inspire the rest of us because, again, he's the living proof that there is meaning behind this Zero Hunger campaign. So, this issue of hidden hunger around us will always have a way of pulling on feedback to work because, you know, I'm encouraged to see how more and more people, regardless of status, bank accounts, or background, are simply more open to fighting for a cause, your own cause. Doesn't need to be zero hunger, although this is the most basic need. You can't do anything when you're hungry. You can't do anything when you're chronically hungry. You can't fight disease. You can't see the Pasig River. You cannot come to school and focus or at least go to work and do something substantial in your lives. And so, find a cause that you believe in, that you feel strongly about, and really focus on that. If you feel connected to something, focus on it. And there are so many ways to do your part. One of the ways I chose to support this ambitious idea of zero hunger is through an online shop, actually, so you can actually think out of the box. Each time you buy something on Casey'sCloset.com, you are also supporting the School Meals Project without even knowing. You get a designer bag or a simple dress that is pre-loved or second-hand, and a portion of what you purchase helps to provide hot meals for a child. And as students, you can think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be corny. It doesn't have to be hard. It's really easy, and you don't need to follow the norm in order to have success in supporting something, a cause that you believe in. You don't have to be rich or be a celebrity to make a change. You don't have to have a lot of resources to help in the fight against hunger. You can think of what you care about and know that all these numbers are just numbers and statistics and figures. Behind these are names, faces, families just like yours and mine. And I have a fellow World Food Program ambassador with both superstars Zlatan Ibrahimovic with a little something to say. Watch this. And that's all for me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it once again. Casey Concepcion. All right, wow, you got lots of fans here. Thank you for that very informative and inspiring presentation. Now, unfortunately, we're a little bit pressed for time, so we can't do the Q&A at the moment, but I'd like all of you to please give her another big round of applause. Thank you so much for your time.